let's be real for a second. You are not going to get rich off just making music. Now, before you click off this video, because your feelings are hurt, I want you to watch this because I'm about to show you the math that nobody's talking about. The time and investment that everyone ignores, and the real ways actual artists build wealth today in this environment. This isn't going to be doom and gloom. It's just a reality check, and I'll give y'all a roadmap to follow if this is what you want to do. So, the streaming math nightmare. Okay, now let's start with something reasonable as a wage. Let's say you want to make 50K a year, and now that's not asking to be a millionaire. That's just enough to make a decent living. Here's what the numbers would look like on Spotify, right? Spotify pays approximately 0.00. So to make 50K, you would need 16.7 million streams per year. That's 45,000 streams every single day for 365 days straight. No breaks, no holidays, no days off. Your odds of making 50K from streaming alone, actually worse. And I know you might be thinking that this could be solved by diversifying across a couple platforms. So, let's just take a look at the streaming numbers I have here. I don't know if these are entirely accurate, but from the last time I checked, Apple Music pays a cent per stream, which is like a lot better, and that's why I use it. YouTube Music pays 0.008 per stream, Amazon 0.04, Tidal, highest payout, smaller audience. Yeah, not looking good. Even if you somehow got equal distribution across all platforms, you'd still be looking at like millions of streams needed to make 50K a year. Now, I'm gonna put this into perspective with actual hip hop artists. Russ, who everyone loves to hate, but he has put the work in, and he did release 11 mixtapes between 2011 and 2014, and they barely made any headway. It wasn't until 2015 that his strategy of releasing one song per week actually started getting traction, and that was when he was 23 and he had already been grinding for 4 years. Another example I want to use for this one is Eminem. He released his debut album Infinite in 1996 when he was 24. It only sold around 1,000 copies and ended his career. And trust me, if you've listened to that album, it's a heap of garbage. J. Cole graduated from St. John's University in 2007, and in that same year, he dropped his first mixtape to come up. It took him 4 more years and 2 more mixtapes before his debut album, Cold World, actually hit #1 in 2011, and he was 26 too. Now, these people are legends, and it still took them a minimum of 4 years, and that's with already having decent music. Because the second part I want to talk about is the actual time investment that nobody seems to want to talk about. What really pisses me off about the industry is that nobody actually talks about how it takes a lot of time to actually get your music to the point where it is listenable and marketable. Everyone seems to be trying to sell you overnight success stories, but the reality is actually pretty brutal. Like, especially compared to like just other industries where you might be able to come out pretty strong. Unless you're like virtuoso status, on average, it does take like 4 to 6 years to master productions to a professional standard. And then if you also want to rap too, it'll take another 4 to 6 years as well. So that's not learning to write songs, understanding business, building an audience, developing a unique sound, and then also learning marketing and promotion, which is also going to add years to the timetable. A couple producers here that we should take a look at are one, Virtual Riot, who, he started producing in 2007 at the age of 13, and his first major success was a song called Energy Drink in 2013, and he was grinding every day for at least 6 years, right? Another example here I want to use is Red. She picked up Ableton at the age of 18 in 2013. 2 years later, after 14 hours a day of practice, she was able to release her breakthrough EP. Notice that I said 14 hours a day. That's not follow your passion and it'll work out. That's obsession level dedication. And then we have Russ again, who had a basement studio, built up a 26-week inventory of songs in his basement. And, he wasn't just releasing music. He was writing, producing, mixing, mastering, and engineering everything himself. And I know a lot of you guys want to hit that. So that's multiple full-time jobs worth of skills. All right, so industry experts say it takes 100 hours of focused practice just to learn the basics of production. And that's just the technical side. You're also going to need to know a little bit of music theory to work efficiently. You're going to want to know a little bit of sound design to make unique sounds. Mixing and mastering, you're going to want to know business skills so you can negotiate contracts and do marketing. Also networking and Also it'll take time for you to build industry relationships. So we are talking about like a 5 to 10 year investment before you're even competitive. And the thing is, the streaming model isn't even broken. It's literally working the way it was designed. Like Spotify, Apple Music, and all these other platforms are not even music companies. They're literally just like tech companies. And it's their job to keep people on the platform and to pay you as little as possible. They need millions of songs to give users infinite choice, and your song is just content to them, and you're super replaceable. Oh, I know. Just get on the playlist, you say. But the reality about playlisting is pretty dark too. Like, editorial playlists are heavily curated by algorithms and a handful of humans, and algorithmic playlists favor songs that already have momentum. User-generated playlists are a good way to get some playlist placements, but they don't have huge audiences. And playlist placement is temporary. Songs are always getting replaced. Take this from my own experience. Like, I had a song that was on like some of the top lo-fi hip-hop playlists, and they want new shit in rotation. Even if you get on a decent playlist, you're renting that attention and you don't own it. Another thing is the current system forces you to be a content creator first and musician second. So you're probably going to be spending a lot more time making TikToks and music. And that content has a shelf life of like a day. Meanwhile, the platforms are making billions off your free content and you're fighting for scraps. All right, so enough doom and gloom. Let me tell you guys what actually works if you haven't clicked off this video yet. Here's what successful music producers and professionals are actually doing. They solve problems for specific people. So one thing you should probably do if you're a producer right now is dive into custom production work. A lot of artists need beats right now that match their vision, and you can charge $500 to even up to $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for a beat. Singers need mixing that makes them sound professional. You can charge up to $200 to $500 per song. I'm not going to judge your prices. Content creators need music for their videos. You can license their tracks. Content creators also need music for their videos, so you could hit them up, try and license some of your tracks or create custom work for them. Second thing that I've actually been starting to dive in a little bit more is teaching and coaching. So a lot of producers will want to learn your techniques. You could create courses. You could do one-on-one sessions on Zoom like I've been doing with producers and artists. Artists also need guidance on their sound, so you can do consultation services. Music schools and music departments of schools also need instructions, so if you're really good with instruments, you could definitely teach. Product development is another thing I've been also diving into. Go check out my new kit, Augmented 808s, in the description. Make sample packs for other producers, make loop packs, mixing and mastering templates, educational content, and tutorials. That'll get you some bread for sure. The interesting part about this is all these approaches will compound. One custom beat client will refer another one. Satisfied mixing client will hire you for an album. A sample pack that you made may be used in a hit song as well. So you're actually establishing a brand and building your business and not gambling on virality and viral moments. And I've seen a lot of producers making like 10K a month from custom beats, mixing jobs, sample packs, and courses. Like, the combination is what gets them there. So really, these aren't even lottery tickets. Like, these are just business models that you're going to want to be able to produce. And yeah, like, just be optimistic really, because I see a lot of 16-year-olds writing better bars than I could ever dream of. And I see a lot of old people dusting off their MPCs and reconnecting with music and making stuff that they've been wanting to make and really just trying to pursue something that they believe in. And don't get me wrong, like, artists can make good income from music. Like, the examples I shared earlier prove it. Russ went from 11 failed mixtapes to multi-platinum albums, and Eminem also went from selling 1,000 copies to becoming one of the best-selling artists of all time. With compounding consistency, you can absolutely build your music to multiple six figures at a time. But that's through building systems that scale, creating multiple revenue streams, developing valuable skills that transfer, building relationships that compound over time, and also like literally just like acknowledging the fact that it does take time. Like, this isn't gonna happen overnight. You have to play the game for the long run, because artists who are making real money are not just making music, they're building businesses around the music. Like, think Rick Ross, like, and the shit that he's doing, right? Or any artist who has multiple ventures aside from their own music. They understand that music and success is like success in any other field of business. It requires skill, strategy, persistence, and often a lot of time. But that's the thing. Once you build these systems, develop these skills, and create these relationships, they compound. And that's when you start thinking about those bigger numbers. So yeah, the music industry doesn't owe you shit, but you do owe yourself to play the game because you can actually win. Stop chasing streams, start chasing customers, stop hoping for viral moments, and start building systems. Stop gambling with your future and start investing in skill set. The dream isn't dead, but the strategy needs to change. Peace. What's up, guys? I just wanted to thank y'all for watching the video and let y'all know that I have a Patreon available. Over there, I have an hour-long session of me recording a song from scratch, and that's over there for free. Also, for people who want to take stuff to the next level, I have a paid membership option with exclusive loop kits, drum kits, updates for my Enter the Void kit, live stream replays for my Instagram lives, solo sessions, 30% off beats. I'm shouting out members in my videos, and I'm also giving them early access to videos, beat song feedback. I got 4 unreleased albums and early song releases. So if that's something you would like, go ahead and head on over to the Patreon and check it out. There's a link in the description. Thanks for watching the video once again, and I'll catch you